was going to ask Ron, but I'll tell you the story. I ran into Elwyn Lang the other day, and a lot of you would have remembered Elwyn and his brother Burgess. They were very good footballers in Mudgee, and memories live on. And apparently, Ron, you had an old boys game between Mudgee and Dunedoo. And I'm not sure whether it was you or Elwyn said, we'll put on a bit of a stink just so that the crowd can get excited. What are we going to do? Well, we'll just line up and Elwyn said, who's going to hit who? And Ronnie said, well, I'll hit you. As you do, get in first, retaliate first. But apparently what was supposed to be a bit of fun, you know, and then hang on to each other and whatever, turned into a massive brawl. And people came from everywhere and got stuck in. So old memories never die. Now Wayne Burgess is going to come and speak, along with Rick Trethowan. I didn't call Rick up at first because I was talking to Rick this morning for quite some time down at the cafe and the pie shop, and I was very conscious of his knees and that he's getting on a little bit, so I thought I'd leave him in the chair for a while longer. But Rick and Burjo, two old mates getting together today, are going to talk about their era. Probably for Burjo playing at both here and at Coolar and the competition. So would you please put your hands together for these two gentlemen.
Thank you, Jeff. I haven't really got too much prepared. I'm just going to talk about a few things. I started playing with Dunedoo in 1972 and finished in 1993. And Ron was just talking about that game in 76. That was my first year in first grade, and playing Mudgee in there at Mudgee, and I remember that very well. And he was dead right. That scrum went down. I was the scrum halfback that day, and the brawl started. Every forward was punching one another. My opposite halfback was a fellow by the name of Chris Fitzgerald from Mudgee, and we come through the juniors against one another. And Chris is standing beside me, and I see everybody else throwing punches, so I'm going whack. Chris said, what did you do that for? I said, well, everyone else is throwing punches. I said, I might as well throw one. And that's the only time I've ever thrown a punch on the football field. And and look, I'm just also going to tell you a little bit about, you know, it was great to have it on the field. You know, we played a very tough game, all you guys out there, and girls now that are part of the club. But there was a lot of antics that happened off the field. There was some that I can't tell you about. But there's one that comes to mind, and it's about one of the great players of my era and Rick's era was Johnny Abbott. Unfortunately, he can't be here tonight. But not only was Abby a good player, he was a lot of fun off the field. Any time Abby was around, there was never a dull moment. And anyhow, it was in the early 80s. Abby wasn't the best trainer at all. And we used to start training around about January, so we'd do road runs and things like that, and we used to always go up the park and come back and pull up and do some push-ups and sit-ups in front of the Royal Hotel. Aggie'd come out the door, schooner in hand, and say, I don't know what's wrong with you, blokes, you just can't be too fit if you're going to start training this time of the year. You know? And anyhow, there was a young bloke, I don't know whether he's here, he's playing June, Big Brett Ballard. The same year, and Beaker was super fit, loved training, and he would be the first one at training. He'd run rings around all of us, and anyhow he was talking to Abby. Abby hadn't been to training, and Abby said to Beaker, he said, you can't be too fit if you've got to train hard like that. And Abby said to him, he said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with you, Beaker. I'm going to race you around the oval, one lap of the oval. And Beaker's eyes lit up. He said, Abby, you're mad, mate. You haven't been training. Look at me, I'm super fit. No. And Abby said, I'll tell you what I'll do with you. We're going to do it for $100. And I'm thinking, Abby, you're mad, mate. You know, this Beaker's super fit, and he's going to get you. And anyhow, he said, righto, next Friday night at the Oval. So we're all down there. 7 o'clock was training. Beaker was down there about 6:30, and he was doing push-ups and sprints and warming right up. And next thing was about 5 to 7. Abby hadn't showed up. And Burgess said, oh, well, yeah, he's chickened out. I knew he would. He said, there's no way he's going to beat me. And next thing, about 2 minutes past 7, over the railway line, come the old white ex-Les Astley's ute, which was Abby's work vehicle at the time. He comes screaming down, he parks in there where the ambulance bay is, and he jumps out of the ute, and he's got his work boots on, his shirt and singlet and a stubby in the hand. And he said, I'm here to race you, Baker, for that lap. Oh, Baker said, what? He's not even dressed for it. Huh? Abby said, no. He said, I told you, a deal's a deal, a bet's a bet. He said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with Baker. He said, I'm going to give you to the light tower start. Now remember Abby said he's going to race him one lap of the oval for $100. And, okay, I think I was there. I still didn't know what was going on, what Abbott's thinking. At the time, I thought he's going mad. He's not going to beat Baker, he's going to lose $100. And Baker's thinking this will be the easiest $100 he's ever going to make. The next thing, I said, go. And Baker heads to the light tower, and he looks behind Abby, still standing beside the ute. And Baker pulled up and just stopped and looked back and said, oh, well, I might as well walk out now. Abby's going to have no chance of catching me. The next thing, Abby jumps in the ute, and away he goes. Around the oval, he picked up Baker at about the halfway line, and right around and come right back, parked where he was, and Baker comes back about 2 minutes later. He said, what was that all about, Abby? And Abby said, mate, I said I was going to race you one lap of the oval. I didn't say how I was going to race you. It was in the old white ute, and anyhow, Baker gave him $100 the following week, which was in $2 coins, but Abby gave it back to him. You know, he said, look, I had a land here. He said, I had a lot of fun, and that was what it was about. You know, my time at Dunedoo, I really enjoyed my football there. You know, you play as long as you can, and that's what it's about, and give your best. And, you know, some of the great players that I played with, this bloke standing beside me, you know, Ronnie Gallagher, Cole Parks, Peter Walkham, you know, many others. But one of the toughest blokes I ever played with was Ian Carney. And I'm glad I played with him and not against him. You know, he was a really, really good, great player for Dunedoo. I'm going to hand over to Rick now for a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have much prepared tonight, but I just thought I'd ad lib, and Ron said something just before he finished, which highlighted a funny story. When he first came here in 1972, he came with a pregnant wife and a boy, and went out after training one night and finished our training and still trying to find out what sort of a man he was, and he said, right fellas, I want everyone to go to the pub tonight. My wife had a daughter, I've got a daughter now, I'll go up there and I'll go up there and I'll buy us a drink. And just as everyone turned to leave, he said, but you'll have to share it. That started out right now. I started playing, I always wanted to play football, and I went down, when I was 13, I went down to see if I could play under 18s, and my grandfather at the time, the coach was a guy named Jack Lamar, and he knew everything about football. He said, whatever he tells you, listen to him. He'll drop a bomb you'll know for the rest of your life. And from memory, he dropped 2 in my time with him. The first one came on the first night. We went over, we used to go there and start a game of touch to warm up and split it at 3 grades. And I blazed up over with the under 18s, and Jack turned around and he said, you're you? And I said, yeah. He said, how old are you? I said, I'm 13. Jack said, piss off, I'm a team coach. That was the first one. The second one was a couple of years later when I was playing. We were playing, I think, Canandle down here. Just as we left the sheds, Jack said, one thing to keep in mind, fellas, if it's shiny, pick it up, if it's hairy, kick it. Not that I've ever done that, but anyway. I came into the first grade in 1972. It was the first year that Gal was playing, Gal came. That was my transition from playing football at school to do what you did, to go to the juniors, to go to play with a professional man who knew all about football, what to do, what not to do, where to be. That's a pretty big change for what he did. It was, as he said, David Abbott was here at the time. Probably not a lot of fellas that have played with a coach of his calibre. He got us to a grand final. We were bridesmaids, unfortunately, but playing with him, I was lucky enough to learn what I did know about football. I only regret if I didn't listen to most of what he told me. But my time in Dunedoo has been great, because as Wayne said, you play for as long as you can. And I worked with a fella from Goulburn called Mad Dog Thurling one time, and he said, if I could still play football, I probably still would be playing. I'm exactly the same. The hardest day for me was when I stopped playing. Okay, thank you very much. I'll leave it.